Brock Purdy officially out. Isiah Pacheco will not play week number 12. Malik Nabers is very questionable, although he hints that he's going to play. We'll talk about that and more. Mike Evans, questionable but expected to play. The impact of everything we just talked about, Niner related, we've got to go over that. Juwan Jennings questions now need to be revisited. Deebo Samuel questions now need to be revisited. What's Christian McCaffrey's workload going to look like? We've got Ceedee Lamb news. We've got more Danny Dimes conversation. The outlook of Nabers long-term because of how the Giants botch everything they do right now. The Fantasy Football Show, Week 12, Monday through Friday. This is the Friday version show. Begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday,
8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen, like we are every single Monday through Friday, breaking down the news live for you here on the Fantasy Football Show. We're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're live whenever big news breaks. We're live most midnights. We call that the Graveyard Show. We built this channel off the Graveyard Show. So we're here constantly for you. When are we not live? That's the easier question to ask. But Pacheco, let's start off with Isiah Pacheco. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Reid says he will not play Week 12. They're going to give him one more week, which means that you could fire up Kareem Hunt if you've got him. Kareem Hunt is a fine play in this Week 12, given that information and news. We got Mike Evans, hamstring questionable, but expected to play. As of right now, setbacks can happen, so, understand that. Ferguson is ruled out with a concussion. That's something we expected. Josh Jacobs, no longer an injury concern, at least right now. Removed from the injury report, will play week number 12. Let's get into some of the bigger names and players that you've been kind of, worried about all week. Malik Nabers told ESPN that he intends to play week 12 with the groin injury, an injury that's been kind of bothering him for some time. This is a concern, though, because he walks into a situation where his quarterback is likely going to have hospital balls waiting for him. Just delivering hospital balls to him left and right. He's been dealing with hospital balls all year. This, as I said many weeks ago, probably the most likely rookie wide receiver to endure injury. Probably one of the more top 15 wide receivers, capable wide receivers that would face the most injury risk this year is Malik Nabers, not because of his person, but because of the fact that he's in an environment that is going to feed him a bunch of disastrous and risky situations. A lot of situations that'll put his body at risk. Laying out for a ball that isn't thrown properly and just the risk of hitting the ground. Hence the concussion that he got. Getting leveled across the middle of the field. Hence the hamstring injury that he got a couple weeks back when he went to the blue tent. He got helped off the field. We thought he was done for the year, and he comes back on the field, thank God. But this guy's being fed horrible situation after horrible situation. Now he has a new quarterback. Danny Dimes was released by this organization, this garbage of an organization right now in the New York Giants. And you don't have to get mad at me if you're a Giant fan. Again, if you didn't know, Daniel Jones has been officially released. He said his goodbyes yesterday. It was pretty obvious this was coming. But don't take offense to this situation. Don't act like you're upset at me because I'm telling you the truth about your own organization. If you're a Giants fan, you're welcome here. You probably down deep agree with me. The Giants are the worst run organization in football right now. It doesn't matter what they've done in the past. Not saying they haven't done good in their time. I'm saying this organization run by Joe Shine, who I wouldn't let shine my shoes. I wouldn't let him go get his shine box and shine my shoes, Joe. The Joe Shine is the worst GM in football. And the fact that this organization, this owner who sat perched up on his coffee table when Hard Knocks recorded this whole Barkley thing unravel, right before the owner's own eyes, and he sat there going, I sure hope he doesn't end up a Philadelphia Eagle. I really want Barkley. Why can't you, as my GM, I'm in charge here, why can't you just get me Barkley? They let Barkley walk. Do not come in here and tell me that was a good move. Oh, but we're building. Don't do it. It was a horrible move. I could have turned this franchise around in a day. I would have drafted Nabers. I would have aggressively traded up to get into a situation to draft Bo Nix, who I said time and time again was better than Caleb Williams. The Giants are in trouble. And this man's dynasty aspirations and upside is in flux. I'm not saying it's gone. I'm not saying I don't buy. I buy him in redraft at the right price. He is a buy low in the right situation. We've got him on the week 12 buy low list. Why? Because the owner of Malik Nabers is panicking. You can get him for pennies on the dollar. But if you own him, there's concern. There's two vantage points here. Nabers in Dynasty, I'm still buying him. He's a talent. He's a massive talent. The Giants are going to have a really, really good draft selection. The Giants are probably drafting a quarterback, but like the Chicago Bears, you can still draft the wrong quarterback. You can still get the worst quarterback of the four and take him number one overall. Caleb Williams isn't even the fourth ranked quarterback. He never was for me. All offseason long, pre-NFL draft and post-NFL draft, he was bouncing between 4 and 5. But my number 5 quarterback overall, I had every single one of Bo Nix, Drake May, Penix Jr., obviously JD5. I had the gauntlet of rookie QBs ahead of Caleb Williams. Caleb went 1. So you think the Giants are not capable of messing this up even if they have a top 3 overall pick? And are they smart enough to trade up if they somehow don't? Are they smart enough to trade up for the one QB that could be the difference maker? Can they get Shedeur? Can they get, who's going to be the guy? We'll have a bunch of rookie content coming. I can't wait. My juices get flowing. I get excited and ramped up about rookie conversation, NFL draft conversation, March free agency talk. I can't wait. It's the best time of year. January 1, this channel gets going more than it ever does all year. Everybody says, I'm going to take a break, be back in maybe April or March. We get going in January. On January 1, oftentimes before January 1, we come in and we hammer down on 2025 content starting next month. We don't mess around. There's no breaks. We don't take time off. We hit it harder January 1 than we do all year long. And we hit it harder all year long than anybody. So what does that say? Malik Nabers. We'll have a lot of conversation about him. Dynasty value. What's it all mean? What do we do? Tyreek Hill, removed from the injury report. Although he's got a torn tendon in his wrist. But he's removed from the injury report, which is just wild to me. Means we can't trust anything. You don't know what's bothering him. DeVonta Smith, hamstring, out. Ruled out for week number 12. That is devastating news. Ceedee Lamb, removed from the injury report, which is good news. But he did get listed as a back and foot injury on the report, and we got to monitor this situation. Again, from a certain vantage point, I'll go buy low. I'll go buy Lamb low. But from you own him right now, you paid top dollar, there's a little bit of concern and worry because this guy is probably looking at a higher risk of being sat in weeks 15, 16, 17. Not necessarily all 3 of those weeks, but at some point during that time frame, when the Cowboys are sitting there going, CeeDee Lamb is our future. We've tied a lot of money up in him. If he's got even the smallest little injury, which he could be faking just to get out of playing because he's a diva wide receivers are very prone to this kind of thinking. Think Breece Hall last year. He didn't do this. Breece Hall did not even think about sitting weeks 15, 16, 17, and he took his owners to the promised land, and he climbed into running back 2 overall value. That's Breece Hall's character. I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb's a bad guy, but CeeDee Lamb is definitely more of the type of player and personality type, being a diva wide receiver, to say, why do I even go out and try? So is there a chance that he sits out at the end of the year and pulls a damn, he screwed me, I'm never drafting him again type of situation. So we'll see. Back to the news here. CeeDee Lamb not on the injury report, so for week 12 you're safe. He's a good play. Brock Purdy will not play week 12. Allen will get the start. Brandon Allen will start for the San Francisco 49ers. What does that mean for Kittle? What's that mean for Debo? What's that mean for Jennings? I don't know. I don't think any of us know. I don't think any of us have a clue. Maybe he gravitates toward one of those guys. Maybe the Niners get absolutely lambasted by the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely lambasted by the Green Bay Packers. Here is your schedule. Okay? Here in the afternoon games, you have San Francisco going up against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. This is going to be a brutal affair, in my opinion. San Francisco's down Bosa. Trent Williams is very questionable. You've got Brock Purdy now out. Why would they play Brock Purdy anyway? You know, why would Trent play? You got to ask yourself that. Why would Trent play? Why would Trent play? Why would you play Trent? If Trent is vulnerable at his older age, why would you send him out there? To try and get the win? I get it. If they could win this game, they're still in it. Brock Purdy, I guess I would say if one of Jennings or Debo is capable of surviving this situation, maybe it's possible, very, very possible, that Debo gets a whole bunch of running work. You know, a lot of design plays. Brandon Allen throwing him short passes. You know, Brandon Allen trying to get the ball out of his hands and into Debo Samuel's hands. Treat this like a Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0 situation. Hey, Debo. Hey, I'm Allen. Take the ball. Debo getting 4 or 5 carries. It's possible. But there's also the possibility that nobody does anything of note on the San Francisco side. Maybe Christian McCaffrey through sheer volume. But then you also got to ask yourself, if Brock's not playing and this is a potential throwaway game, and you could save Trent Williams one more week to make sure he's healthy enough to block for Brock Purdy in the next contest, then you got Christian McCaffrey with less of a blocking situation. It's just a big mess. Do you dial back the workload for Christian McCaffrey, even though he's not going to be ruled out or anything, to just say, you know what, let's give Garendo and Mason more work this one. Let's not ruin Christian McCaffrey in a nothing burger game. As I mentioned, Nick Bosa will not play week 12. This is great for the Green Bay Packers offense. This is great for Josh Jacobs, who's off the injury report. This is great for Jaden Reed, who's probably going to have 100 total yards and a touchdown if I had to guess a number. It's going to be a big day for the Green Bay Packer players. Anything's possible. This is football. That's why they play the game. Defensive touchdown at the beginning of the game could turn the momentum right away. It's hard to say, but if I was a betting man, and I am, I'm going to put my money on the Green Bay Packers to win this game against a very beat up, and it's unfair, but a very beat up 49er team that has been ravaged with injuries, which is something your boy predicted because of last year being completely spotless in terms of the injury report. There's no way this older team was going to walk into 2024 and avoid injuries, and they've been ravaged more than I ever imagined. So we'll have to play it by ear in terms of some of your Debo Samuel and Jennings and Kittle questions. Let me break into the super chats. This is the news. We pretty much covered everything. Danny Dimes, of course, again released, and where's he end up? Is he even a viable player for any team? You know, he's garbage. He's garbage. What's he gonna do? Venture somewhere else and have success? I highly doubt it. Although the Giants, if there was a team that would make us think somebody was bad and they were actually better, it will be the New York Football Giants. Let's hit these super chats and get this. Andrew's $20 hauler Immediate attention, he says. Give me immediate attention, Smitty. Let me make sure I don't have another $20 hauler. I don't. So, Andrew, you get a first crack at this. 12-team.5 Dynasty. Should I trade Jaylen Warren and my 26 first rounder for Evans and a 25 second and third? If you can win a bunch of money, Josh Allen, Mixon, Chuba, David Montgomery, Hunt. Who calls him Damo? Andrew, you're running the risk of me not knowing who the hell you're talking about. Damo, never heard that in my life. Damo, Cook, Hunt, Nico, Hopkins, Jennings, Adams, London. This is a good team. The thing I would probably say, bro, looking at this is that, you know what? I don't know that you need, unless you start 4 or 5 wide receivers, I don't know that you need to make this trade and sacrifice future first-round value when you have London, Hopkins, and Nico. And Jennings still very solid. If it were me, I probably would say hold off on going and getting Mike Evans in this situation. I still think you could win with what you have, and I'm going to say stand down, young man. I don't think I want to do that. Damo, Dave Montgomery. Leo with this first super chat of the day, by the way. First super chat of the day gets a standing ovation in my book.
Mashed potatoes.
That's my boy right there. That's my boy. Leo, he says 2 trades, Sutton for BT Kraft. Give me BT. I know that Sutton's better right now, but BT's going to go on a tear. You mark my words. And JT Dell for Nakua and Pacheco. Give me Nakua and Pacheco, because JT and Nakua, you could argue I'd rather have Nakua than JT, believe it or not, but it's close, and Pacheco will crush Dell once back, even though he's out this week. So, Leo, give me that Puka Nakua side. Appreciate you. Superflex, have to drop 1 QB, Rush or DeVito. I mean, you got to probably... the problem is Rush might be on the way out. Trey Lance is very close to knocking on the door. Not that that's going to necessarily be amazing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Rush there's being talked. There's conversations and there's some talk about, hey, is Rush coming into the game? Not yet. So like it could be they're crossing paths, but I guess I would say give me Rush over DeVito, but I would keep my eye on Trey Lance to swap that out so that you still have a starter if that gets swapped out. DeVito's not a fantasy, monster. But I will say DeVito, like many QBs like him, they can come in and offer a spark initially until defenses start clamping down and figuring them out real quickly. So there could be a game or two where we think there's something there and there's not. That's just the way of a player. That's like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tyrod Taylor, Josh Dobbs. Like, you're going to have a spark. Don't have a lot of film on the guy or recent film or relevant film or enough consecutive film. Somehow, some way they pull a lot off early on and then they get sold. I'm in a pinch. Start Rush, Brandon Allen, or Levis. I'd probably go Cooper Rush, I guess, bro. Brandon Allen's okay, but I don't know that I trust him fully. Bucky or Jennings. Guys, would you rather Brandon Allen or Cooper Rush? I just think with Ceedee, I think I like the opportunity. Flex, Bucky, or Jennings. At this point, man, I guess I'd go Bucky with the bench or with the absence of Brock Purdy. Herbert or Baker rest of season. Probably Herbert. Well, I guess Baker. Baker's earned it. And JJ or Nico rest of season, I'm going to go JJ, but I do think Nico is going to be right there. But that's a close and tough call. PPR start 1, MHJ, Evans, Hunt, Tracy, or D-Hop. I mean, you should have made a trade, Vito. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go, as long as Evans is playing, I'm playing Evans. But I love, Hunt's pretty safe. If you're worried about snap count or re-injury, Hunt is very solid. But I'm going to go Evans probably, my boy. I think it's just the safest move. Gibbs and Otten for Bijan. I'd rather have Bijan by a hair. Also have Brees and Taysom. It's close though, bro. It's absolutely close. There's no like, hey, Gibbs can't be as good as Bijan or Bijan can't be as good as Gibbs. Those guys are neck and neck, my boy. Start Hunt or Tracy. I'm going Hunt with Pacheco out. but very arguable, Brian. Move Debo for which wide receiver on playoff bound? You're not getting rid of Debo right now, KD. There's no one that's going to go, oh, hey, Brock Purdy's now out, and he's been struggling. Let me go buy Debo. I guess you could try and move him for Nabers. You could try and move him for McLaurin. You could try moving him for MHJ. You could try moving him for Hopkins. You could try moving him with something to get a bigger piece like Evans. You can move him for like a Pacheco and Brian Thomas Jr. Don't do it straight up for Brian Thomas Jr., but Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be somebody I think everybody's going to want to trade for later. So, preemptively. In a pinch, flex Noah Brown, Abdullah. I guess I'd probably go. Chat, can we get a vote on this one for Mr. Frost? This is neck and neck. I kind of like Michael Wilson's interesting. What are we doing here? Can I get a vote on this one for Mr. Frost, guys? Please vote. Which wide receiver would you start in this situation? I'm going to leave this up over here so you guys can answer that question for Mr. Frost. Appreciate you. Please help Mr. Frost out. We got several Abdullahs. We got one Michael Wilson. Traded 9-2. Traded Patty, Terry, Worthy for Allen and Higgins. That's a big win. Higgins is easily, arguably, as good as Terry or anybody right there. And then you get Josh Allen. That's a home run. Smash trade. Like it. Josh Allen to the moon in fantasy, bro. Nabers or Auden in the flex. I'd probably say I'm still going Nabers, bro. I'm not sitting Nabers. It sounds like he's going to go. If for any reason that changes, then that makes the decision for you. But I'm going to start Nabers. Start Love or Tua this week. Probably Love against a beat-up 49ers team. But Tua is going to have a nice day, but he's a lot harder to trust, so at the end of the day. Trade away Herbert and Aaron Jones for Lamar in a millisecond. Go get Lamar. DeVito for a matchup or May this week. I'm going to go May. I don't trust DeVito yet. Start 2, Lamb, Brian Robinson Jr., Tracy. Lamb's locked in. I probably... Chat, Brian Robinson Jr., or Tracy, please. Brian Robinson Jr. or Tracy, please vote. And Abdullah won the vote. So Abdullah's this question right here. Chat, can I get a vote on Tracy or B-Rob Jr.? Let's get a vote here for Jurassic. B-Rob Jr. or Tracy. I'm going to leave that one right there for you guys to vote. We got Tracy, we got B-Rob Jr., we got B-Rob Jr., B-Rob Jr., B-Rob Jr., we got Tracy, B-Rob Jr. B-Rob Jr. is going to win by a slight bit, my boy. Appreciate you dropping the super chat. And then this one right here, JMO or Jennings, is JMO rest of the way right now. Drop Mitchell for Mason. I don't mind that. I think I could get behind either one of that. Trojan with the $5 hauler. Who wins this trade? Chase Brown, Dobbins, Garrett Wilson, or Brian Robinson, Chuba, and Brooks? I don't know what these slashes are, Trojan. They mean nothing. There's no universal language for slashes, so I don't know. I think you're including those. And a lot of people use them for like and or, so I'm just going to evaluate the way that I see it. Chase Brown, Dobbins, Garrett Wilson, or Brian Robinson, Chuba, and Brooks. I'm going to go with the Garrett Wilson side. But, arguments can be made here. Zay Flowers is nice. Brian Robinson Jr. is nice. But Dobbins, Chase Brown, and Garrett Wilson just seems like a much more beefy side of this thing, bro. Or Kupp instead of Zay for the playoffs. If you're going to give me Kupp and Brian Robinson Jr. and Chuba, then I do like that side a little more than this Chase Brown side if you're giving me Kupp. Appreciate you, my boy Trojan, dropping the fire. Traded Hopkins away for Waddle and Corum for Kyron Insurance. Hopkins away for Waddle and Corum. I don't hate it, but I probably would rather have Hopkins, but the insurance is nice. If you do need to cash that insurance in, it will be beneficial to you. But I think if that doesn't happen, you could take a little bit of a hit because I do think Hopkins is going to have a nice season. Jerry or Joe Scheinbach's worst GM? They're equal, bro. They're absolutely equal. TM42, you make a very valid point. When I say that Joe Schein is the worst GM in football, Jerry Jones and Joe Schein are both devastatingly equal to their franchises. Herbert or Murray this week? I'm going to go with Kyler Murray by a hair. One wide receiver to pick up off waivers: Pop Douglas, Quentin Johnson, Watson, Dobbs, or Jacoby. Give me Watson. His 150 yards last game was nice, bro. The Niners are beat up. Give me that matchup all day long. Love what we're looking at in this Green Bay Niner matchup right here. I'm smashing the hell out of that. Green Bay 7-3. They want to make it 8 wins. The Niners are going to fall to 5-6. The Seahawks are going to fall to 5-6, I believe, or they climb to 6-5, and the Cardinals go to 6-5, and then the Niners are, definitely, potentially closer. But if the Cardinals win and go 7-4 in this divisional matchup game right here, and the Niners lose this, they're 2 games back, and the Niners are toast. So this is a big game, which is having Brock Purdy out is huge hit to the Niner hopes for a playoff run. Was it a mistake to send Bowers for Kittle 2 weeks ago? You could argue either one, bro, but Purdy will be back. I don't think Purdy's out for the year or anything, but if he suffers some sort of like recidivism with the injury or it doesn't get right, it could get spiral out of control really quickly and then you'll regret it. I would rather have Bowers personally. Is it a mistake? No, Kittle's been playing great, but I would rather have Bowers personally. And you couldn't have seen Purdy getting hurt, and the playoff hopes are still there if they win the game. Trade Chuba for Evans, or if the Cardinals lose, then the playoffs hopes are still very much in play. Trade Chuba for Evans. I'd rather have Evans all day long. My running backs are Bijan, Connor, Bucky. Yeah, I think I would, especially with Jonathan Brooks coming on board now. He's going to play week 12. I'm not saying he takes the job, but he certainly will muddy the waters up a little bit. So I definitely think that's the best move to make there. Appreciate your super chat. This one from Jesse: trade JT for Kupp. I'd rather have Kupp, but very, very close. It depends on your situation, but your running backs are so strong. That is a very good move for your team. So smash the hell out of that. Smash the hell out of that. Okay. Phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. We've got more super chats to answer, but we'll hit some phone lines too and discuss some of your dilemmas, especially relating to some of this news. The Giant news, the Brock Purdy not playing week 12 news, the Ceedee Lamb's off the injury report, but what's that mean and what do you do with them? There's a whole lot to discuss, so we'll hit that. Dial on in. And then this one from Skyward real quickly says, should I start May, DeVito, Darnold, Levis? That's a tough one. I'm going May. Actually, I'm going to probably go Darnold. I believe Darnold will still play well. I'm not giving up on Darnold. What is this Allen, though? This can't yeah, who's... Brandon Allen. That's right. I don't even remember he's starting. Like 5 minutes later, I don't even know who he is. Oh, yeah, Brandon Allen. That's right. Watch him go nuts on Sunday. I don't think the Niner fan base is very excited about Allen. I don't think they are. I'm going to go Darnold here. It's very close. May's solid. If you wanted to potentially say, hey, I feel like this is going to be a big game for Drake May, I'm not opposed to you starting Drake May. It's going to be a potential, in my opinion, game script where May's going to throw a lot, because I think especially with the injury to Gonzalez, I think that you're going to probably see Miami have a very successful offensive outing. So New England will probably be throwing from behind, if I had to guess. You never know. Chicago is a tough matchup for Darnold, but then again, it's like Chicago's been worn down. We've seen this song and dance before where defenses are supposed to be, lights out, but they just get tired. They get worn out. I would probably still go Darnold here. I think there's going to be a Jefferson touchdown. There'll probably be a couple touchdowns for Darnold waiting in this one. Not extremely worried about Chicago, but I could see you going either direction. It's not a crazy question at all. And have Nabers for a potential stack. I'm not worried about stacking and redraft. That is no bearing on anything. There's no rhyme or reason to stacking DeVito with your wide receiver. That sounds worse than it is helpful. Darnold or AR5. I'll go AR5 this week, given the matchup for Darnold if I'm put in that box. But great questions from Skyward. Skyward, it's a great question. And Kevin, it's a good one as well. All right, let me hit the Slayer. Slayer, you're first to dial in. What's up, my boy?
Man,
you're live.
Up.
You're messed up. What'd you do, Slayer? I got the take a lap button ready.
Yeah, hold on. So last week we did the London for Gibbs trade, so I was cool.
Okay.
Then today, before the news break about Purdy over there, I traded off Cup, Hunt, and Burrow. I traded off Cup, Hunt.
You don't even know. You don't even know who you traded. Cup, Hunt, and give it to me, bro.
Okay, look at Cup, Hunt, and Estimate for Jay Jettis, right?
Cup, Hunt,
and Burrow.
Make up your mind. Estimate, Burrow. Who? What is it?
No. So today I traded off Cup, Hunt, and Estimate.
What?
I got Jettis and Burrow.
Bro, I'm this close to hitting that button. Okay, so Burrow and JJ.
I traded off Cup.
Okay, bro.
Finish him.
I'm telling you right now.
Let's try one more time, Slayer. Let's try one more time. Do I have it right? Cup, Hunt, Estimate for Burrow and JJ, because that's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's what I'm writing.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
The problem is that I was planning on flexing Jennings the rest of my way, but I still got MHJ. But then with Purdy taking this hit, I'm just worried now.
But that has nothing to do with this fantastic trade that you made, where Hunt's going to lose his value. Yeah. Estime's not anything I'm even considering, and you're trading Cup for JJ, and you get Joe Burrow. So what in the hell are we talking about? Who cares about?
That's why I called you, Smitty.
Yeah, Jennings has nothing to do with this. You know what I mean? Like I get that you're mad about that, but there's no way I should have kept Hunt and Estimate. Come on, bro. Come on.
Take a big laugh.
All right.
Hey, Slayer.
False
Slayer, you're my boy.
I'm gonna take a lap.
No. Just hang tight. Hang tight on the phone line. I might need you. All right, hang tight. Nap, you're from Wisconsin. What's up, Nap? You're live.
What's going on, Smitty?
So,
I actually called for nothing really because I just made a big waiver grab. Somebody dropped Hunt thinking that Pacheco was coming back this week.
Nice. So you got the Hunt for a rental. One more. You found a 1 week lease on Hunt sitting in the trash can. That's great. Yeah. That's great. Fire him up.
It was awesome.
Fire him up, bro.
Yeah, I was thinking about J-Mo. I want to get Bucky in the lineup though, but I really don't got any room for him though.
You let me be the judge of that. Who's your worst two starters?
I got D-Mont and I got JT.
Okay, yeah, you're not doing that. Mm-hmm. Hey, Bucky's nice, but you don't even need him, so don't even worry about it.
All
right. Good job, Nap. Appreciate you. All right, Travis, you're live.
Yeah, so I just wanted to read off my wide receivers that I have. I was feeling pretty good about them, and now I'm kind of shaky. Just wondering if you think I should make any moves, or what do you think I should do?
All right, hit me with it.
I have Jefferson, which obviously I'm very happy with. Tyreek Hill, Jennings, D-Hop, and BTJ.
D-Hop and who?
With Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, BTJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I know it's like decent, but it's gotten shakier. So
I don't think it's shaky. I think it's really good. I think this is rich person problems. I mean, JJ Hill for now is just locked in. You can't even you're gonna kill you're gonna be so crushed and devastated if you sit Hill and then he explodes. Like, you've been waiting this long, so you have to play him. Jennings, very questionable right now with this situation. Even if you were to have a really good week number 12, you cannot second guess putting him on the bench right now in his current predicament. love BT for the season, rest of season. He's going to be an absolute monster. Hopkins is a real nice play.
I love Hopkins too. Just the past couple of weeks, I question when we get enough volume. That's my only worry.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I mean, you never know, but I think he'll be fine.
And so right now, I had Jennings in the flex. Would you stay away from that? Would you go with Hopkins instead?
I would for right now. I don't know what Allen and Jennings are going to do. Have they even ever met?
No clue.
they even know where each other's lockers are. I don't even know if Allen had a locker until today. I mean, he did. He's been their backup, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, he's not. We never mentioned his name this year. He hasn't come up. Like he's getting thrusted into a situation where he's got potentially. First of all, the defense is going to be struggling, so that's going to tire out the offense and tire out the entire system because you got Bosa out. That's horrible, and then you've got freaking Trent Williams injured. And why would you? I know you'd play him to try and get the win, but Green Bay's probably the odds of you beating Green Bay without Brock Purdy, without Bosa, the entire team littered with other smaller injuries of note. There's just why would you want when you're pushing your luck with Trent Williams at an older age? He's reaching out to LeBron saying, "How do I extend my lifespan? Because I'm getting older." Thank you, Slayer. Appreciate you. So like, why would you risk hurting, your star offensive lineman? That when he's out, everything turns into mush. This is a tough spot. Niner fans have got to be worried. But I don't know that I'd play Trent. I don't know that Trent's going to play. It sounds like Trent's like leaning toward the right side of 50-50, but I wouldn't play him. I would say there's no way I'm sending him out there to get absolutely injured worse when this is probably an L anyway.
Yeah, that window can close fast, like we talked about.
Yeah. 541 caller. What's your name and where are you calling, bro? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Andrew Robb. I sent a super chat earlier.
Andrew Robb. What's up, Andrew? Where are you calling from?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay, what's up, my man?
Hey, so earlier last week, I made a wild trade, and I was wondering how much I lost in it's Dynasty, 12 half PPR. Right. I was worried. I traded Ceedee straight for London. Straight up.
Ceedee for London.
Some people, right. Some people said it was a dumb move, but we don't know yet.
No,
I got worried because I'm trying to win the championship.
I mean, we talked about this trade a lot. We actually have. This is not a bad move. This is a move that you're banking on CeeDee Lamb maybe being in a very vulnerable situation all year long. And like I said at the top of the show, I don't know if you heard me, but CeeDee Lamb is the player I fear most will diva his way out of week 16, 17, 15. And the team might do this as well. If he's banged up at all, and you've got this money locked up in this guy, you've got your future locked up in this guy, and there's nothing to play for, and you're trying to get a better draft pick. Like, you tell me what you're going to do with CeeDee Lamb if he's like, hey, my toenail's hurting. I might have an ingrown toenail.
Right?
Sit. You're sitting, boy. That's what Jerry's going to say.
I'm going to tell my league to shut the fuck up. Like, it's obviously a genius move now.
Well, I mean, it could be. Like, London's banged up, but it's a hit pointer. I'm not too worried about it. But I think most people would rather have London right now if you're asking a normal community. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong and my own community wants CeeDee, but guys, vote CeeDee or London going forward. Rest of season, you're not factoring in Dynasty. You're not factoring woulda, shoulda, couldas. You're not factoring in any of that. You're factoring in right now, rest of season. What would you rather have, London or CeeDee? And you can point your league right to the 38-minute mark of the show, and they'll vote right now. London, Lamb forever. That's a Lamb, fanatic. London, I traded CeeDee for Puka. CeeDee, London. Got to be London.
Almost went Puka,
London. I like Puka more though. I will say that. But look at that. Straight. You got like maybe 1 out of 15 said London or said CeeDee. You're good, bro.
This pleases me.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Yeah. All right, Andrew. Got to run. Appreciate you, bro. Later.
Cheers.
Marco, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. So we're benching Kittle this week?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. He's off the injury report.
I have Laporta, so should I put Laporta instead of him?
I would.
They're playing the Colts, so
I would.
All right, I'm gonna plug in Laporta.
I mean, let's see what the chat would do. So you got a 9-1 Detroit Lions team that I think has wanted to get Laporta more and more involved. They did in one game a couple weeks back. Then he got banged up again. But he's off the injury report. I'm going to give him a clean slate. Staying healthy is our number one concern for 2025, clearly. But when he's healthy, he can be a top 3 tight end. He scored 2 touchdowns a couple weeks back. They called one back. He had the one. A lot of box score bobbies came in and said, the touchdown salvaged his day, but they didn't see that he had a really good game. You could go 100 different ways on this, bro. I'm not going to lie. Well, you can go 2 ways, but I'm just saying you could have 100 different arguments as to why Kittle is good, why he's bad. Okay, they're going to lean on him as a safety net. Allen's not going to get any room to run. They're gonna have to throw the ball deep all game long because they're going to be down. Laporta, I just feel like this is going to be a nice turnaround, best buy low, laughable type situation next year where people are ranking him high again. And you try and tell somebody, remember when no one liked Laporta and he was getting dropped? I like Laporta. I always thought Laporta was a top 5 tight end. No, you didn't. Right now, Laporta can be had for pennies on the dollar.
I picked him up off the waiver, too.
Exactly. Off the waiver wire. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I go Laporta. Trust your gut, though, because Kittle has been bowling out, and there is an argument that he could be a safety net for Allen.
All right, cool. Thank you.
It's a tough call. Travis, what would you do in that situation? All right, later, Marco.
Thanks.
I'd probably still roll with Kittle, but it's so close. I understand what you're saying, too.
I might be getting ahead of myself. I don't know. I feel like, there's a lot of, a lot of people say, Smitty, you're biased to this, you're biased to that. And this is true. There might be some bias involved, but doesn't mean bias is wrong. You know what I mean? Like the bias. Yeah, the bias is sometimes a guide. It's not like it has to be a wrong bias. It's just I got a lot of bias toward that situation. I just think Detroit is like, here's the way I look at it. Detroit is going to live in the red zone. They got 9 wins. They're cooking. Their quarterback's cooking off of, a nice bounce back week from the week prior. There's going to be red zone opportunities. There's going to be a lot of defensive focus on these wide receivers that keep cooking people up. Laporta's probably going to be the odd man out in terms of the defensive game plan. Like which means he's going to be a guy that's going to be, loose in the end zone somewhere. That's just my gut feel. You could say that Allen's going to lean on a safety blanket, Kittle all day long. I get that, but because I don't know what that rapport really is, I don't feel like I have a good grasp of it. Not to mention Shanahan's been screwing up left and right, and that this game's going to get out of hand. Now, Kittle could be involved in getting them back in it. Kittle does run long, deep routes. I don't know. I'm not banking on this being a good game for the Niners.
Well, and one good point, too, is if Trent Williams is banged up or misses the game, Kittle's going to be blocking more, so that's something to consider as well. So, definitely a unknown. So.
See, look at the negativity on Laporta. It's so deep. Choosing Laporta is like taking points off the scoreboard. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how far Kittle has fallen, or how far Laporta has fallen. Let me hit these super chats real quick, Travis, and then I'll come right back to you. 0.5, JD5, Tua, Bijan, Tracy, Swift, Algier, Mason, Nico, Dell, Watson, Waddle, Olave, Laporta, 5 and 6. Do I sell Bijan or Nico to get some upgrades? Looking at your team, I'd probably say JD5, Bijan, Tracy, Nico, Dell, Watson. It's a good team, but are you winning this whole thing? Probably not. I think you do need a move. For me, it's Bijan for one of the other top 5 backs that are getting devalued. JT, Kyron, Gibbs, Breece Hall, and you get another piece, whether it's upgrading a almost useless Olave into a wide receiver, or upgrading Waddle into a wide receiver, or getting one entirely free, or upgrading Dell. But that's the move I'm going to make with that team. Bucky is a dog that he is. I don't think there's really a community probably higher on Bucky than this one, dating back to the waiver wire show, the first waiver wire show. Bucky is definitely a favorite of this channel. We like Bucky a lot. If you got an opportunity to play him, he's a real good play. There is risk that he could get his workload dialed back at any moment, though. That's the problem, is the workload. Is he guaranteed workload? No, he's not. If he gets it, he balls out. Full PPR, I just traded Lamb and Disley for Flowers and Likely. I don't know that I would do that move, Rhino. The reason I wouldn't is there's as many question marks about Flowers as there is Lamb in some ways. So, but I support it. I don't make you take a lap on it. I just don't think I would do that. Also start Benson, Abdullah, Roshan, Tucker. Probably Benson. He's been getting more work and production, but Roshan's a shot at a touchdown. Abdullah should get some volume. I'd probably lean Benson, but maybe Abdullah is the safest. And Benson's your higher risk, higher reward play. Quentin Johnson or Hopkins. I'm going to go Hopkins. I'm not hesitating there. I think Hopkins and Mahomes connect very well and very often in this Week 12 matchup. Dynasty Superflex got offered Caleb and JMO for CJ Stroud. Already have Mahomes. I would rather have CJ Stroud by a country mile, even though he's struggling and he's playing like dog crap right now. He's still a good quarterback. We know that he'll come around. He's having a bad year. He's struggling, but I believe in Houston. More importantly, I believe in D'Amico. I think he's going to turn this thing around. And we know Caleb didn't fake what he did his rookie year. You can't trip and fall into that kind of success, but he's definitely taken a step back. Nico getting hurt was a big, I think, jolt to his season. In a negative way, and I think that it will come around. I would definitely rather have CJ Stroud by a country mile in this situation. Would you do JSN and Hunt for Jacobs? Absolutely. Hunt is on borrowed time. He's got one more week, and then Pacheco's back. Now, could there be another setback? Sure, but I'm taking the gamble and going and getting Jacobs, who, honestly, if Hunt was in there, I still would consider that trade if Hunt was in there all year, because Hunt's going to wear down a little bit. What's up, Singletary or Abdullah? Probably Abdullah. I don't love the options, but that's probably the safer one. All right, Travis, what else you got?
Sorry, I was on mute. How do you feel about Christian Watson? Would you feel all right watching him this week if you needed to, or do you want to see it for another week?
I'm pretty comfortable with the flex play, but it just depends on like the other options, obviously.
Yeah, other options, yeah.
But I like him. I mean,
general, just outlook, yeah.
150 yards last week, right? Off of I forget how many catches, but
I think it was 4.
I mean, that's a nice little day.
150.
If he had like 80 yards or something, if he had like 80 yards or something, I think I could easily be like, well, we don't know what he is, but like 150 is a lot. Yeah. Like he's got the talent. He's always had the talent.
Right.
He gets hurt so easily, but I think he's a solid play. He's risky, but he's solid. Rock out. Oh, go ahead real quick, and I'll go over to Rock Out.
No, go to Rock Out.
Rock Out, you're live.
Yeah, I need one wide receiver and 2 flexes. I got McLaurin, MSJ, Hunt.
MSJ or
MHJ.
Okay. MHJ, Terry. Who else?
Hunt, Tracy, and JMO. And Downs.
Tracy, JMO, and Downs. And how many do you need?
3.
I'm going MHJ, I'm going Terry, and I'm going probably Hunt. But JMO and Hunt are... You what?
Yeah. I just said JMO has a nice matchup, too.
Yeah, JMO and Hunt are the tough call. You could sit MHJ and go JMO if you wanted to and go Hunt still, I suppose.
Well, Hunt against Carolina. You almost got to play Hunt against Carolina.
Yeah.
They're so bad. It's a run.
I mean, that Cardinal-Seattle game should be a real important one. So I think MHJ, the Cardinals are going to go out, come out for blood. They're going to be trying to score a bunch of points in this game. JMO is very, very nice. He does have those moments of like popping off, and because he's the number 2, he'll have big games and bad games and big games and bad games. So, I guess you could say, man, you could say like.
You hesitate at all on Terry?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could say that because they might run the ball a lot, get up on Dallas and keep running and control the clock. You could. This might be the craftier move. It's risky, but maybe you are doing this. Man. Chat, you like Terry or JMO? Let's lock in MHJ and Hunt. Terry or JMO? It's easy to be like, hey, we got to keep playing Terry, but I mean, JMO is so capable of 100 yards and a touch. The only difference is like, Terry's the number 1, JMO's the 2, but you got a high octane Detroit offense. It's hard to really say. We got 2 JMOs, 2 Terrys so far. 3 JMOs, 2 Terrys. We got a tie from Ray G. Terry, love JMO though. We're pretty damn even. JMO, Terry, it's just going back and forth. Probably Terry by like 1 vote. Terry by like 1 or 2 votes now.
It doesn't exactly matter. This week, I'm supposed to win by like 15 points or something like that.
Yeah, I guess I would say, your worst case scenario, Terry probably gets you like 10 points, and then if JMO has like 18, whatever. I mean, this is your safe move, Terry, MHJ, Hunt, and then if you want to go high risk, high reward, go JMO. Tough to say though.
Yeah, the risky part, he gets all his points off for reception.
Yeah. Ray G says, who does A-Rod play for next year? I'll draw the team I think he plays for. I think he plays for the couch. I don't know. I don't know that A-Rod. I think A-Rod knows that he probably doesn't have it in him. If it's not going to be the Jets, I don't think Aaron Rodgers returns. And it's not going to be the Jets, apparently. So I don't think he has it in him to cultivate and try and build something up. It takes a lot of energy, and it's hard to walk straight in and just win.
I think it would have to be like a Brady to the Bucs situation, and I don't know if a team is gonna. If there's a team like that, that'll be that built up, that's willing to put that much into it, just to have Rodgers come in.
Yeah,
Brady's better than Rodgers is now.
I mean, like looking at all the teams. Let's just pull up all the teams so we have them in front of us. Who needs a QB that's a Super Bowl contender? Because that's the only thing that Aaron Rodgers would be considering. You've got nobody on top row here. You've got, like Miami would be interesting if, let's say, Tua, knock on wood, got knocked out of another game. But like, would Aaron Rodgers? Maybe like that. That's a consideration. Colts, no. No one else on the second line here. You've got the Raiders. They're not in a position to win. And Adams just came from like that would be so wild. Jaguars, they're not walking away from T-Law yet. The Browns and the Miami Dolphins are the most reasonable landing spots if we were to try and muster up some landing spots. Tennessee, no way. So back over to the NFC. No one on line 1. Giants, no shot in hell. He's going to try and take on that situation. Carolina, no shot in hell. Rams, I guess if like Stafford retired, there's a conversation that could be had. So right now, Miami, what do we say? Miami, Cleveland, and the Rams so far. Green Bay, no way. Eagles, no. Saints. I mean,
someone said Washington.
San Francisco. Hey, I'll tell you something right now. I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or not. I don't know that Brock Purdy's a lock to get his contract from the Niners.
That was in the back of my head.
I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to go there, but I don't think. I don't know. A lot depends on what happens, and I thought about doing a show on it tonight. I'm not saying that Rodgers is the reason. That came to mind when we got the Niners, and instead of saying no way they're bringing Brock Purdy in, I don't know. I don't know if the Niners. It depends how he finishes. If he doesn't finish strong, what a flip this will be. Okay, so then the Vikings, no. Oh, the Vikings, that's where Favre went.
JJ McCarthy, it would have to be something wrong there.
I know. That's where Favre went, and it just seems like that's where Rodgers needs to go next. Tampa, no. So there's Seattle, maybe Seattle. I mean, Seattle would be interesting because, man, you'd have wide receiver city. That would be crazy. I can kind of see him in that. But I don't know. So we got Seattle. We got the Rams. The Niners, probably not. Cleveland, Miami. That's it. I mean, those are more teams than I thought, though, that might have the capability of drawing him in. But, God, I don't know. Does anybody believe here that he still got it? Raise your hand. Is it the Jets? Are the Jets the problem? Or is it Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are sitting there with everything they need? Or has it been coaching? Has it been absolute, mundane?
I think the Jets screwed up by not having a coach who could handle a situation like that. You have to have someone in there that has the respect already. And you were going with Robert Saleh, who was already kind of losing respect, had losing seasons behind him. And I'm not even saying it's necessarily all his fault.
Chase Brown?
It was kind of a messy situation to begin with.
Yeah, I think he walks away. I don't think he wants to be a part.
Yeah, I could see him maybe signing with the team if something happened early in the season and they were a contender too. Like when, Herbert gets hurt and the Chargers have a spot open, and something like that, I could see him coming in and playing. But I think you're probably right. But he's more aware of his situation more than people give him credit for.
I do wonder what's left. I know everybody wants it's very quick for people to say wash. I get that, but we saw him throw. We saw him throw pretty well at times. I think it's just the unfortunate part is I don't know that he's got another year left. So I don't know that he was washed this year, but the situation sucked, and we'll always look at it as though he was washed. I just don't know if that was the case, but I don't know that he can come back. And I don't know. It's hard to say. It would be interesting if the Niners gave him a shot. It would be very, very interesting to see, but they'd probably just get him hurt, All right. Infamous, appreciate your $2 hauler. Start Kraft or Disley. I'd probably go Disley right now, but Kraft's nice. I think Kraft can bounce back and have a nice game, but Disley's on fire right now to a degree. May or AR5. I'm going to go AR5. But, May's, like I said, the script might be there for May to have a nice little outing because of the flow of game. I think in this New England Miami game right here, you're probably looking at Miami, given the state of the New England defense right now, probably getting up big on this one, and then May's going to have a lot of garbage potential garbage time potential. But I truly believe that this Detroit-Indy game is going to be a high-scoring affair, and AR5 is going to also have an opportunity to have some garbage time. Question is, during garbage mode, will AR5 crumble, or will he surprise and win that game? This is the NFL, and I'm actually really excited to see if that's one of those like Survivor pick'ems. You're like, oh, Lions. You're like, I'm just going to use it right now. Kick my feet up, put my hands behind my head, and wait for my wing delivery, and just cash in on my W this week. And then, oh my God, this is the NFL. I forgot the Colts could win that game. It'd be crazy. 413. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty, this is Andy from Massachusetts.
Andy from Mass. What's up, my boy?
Well, I got an interesting matchup this week. I'll set the table kind of quick. Purdy being out, my opponent is stacking Geno Smith, DK, and JSN.
Stacking.
I have Kenneth Walker on opposing that. I have Nico. He has Tank. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. also in that Seattle game. I have Kittle. He had Purdy, who's out, so it doesn't play a big factor anymore.
You play too much best ball, bro. You play way too much best ball. I'm not saying best ball isn't good, but like you're overthinking this thing. You're trying to game stack this. You're trying to worry about all that. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's all right. I was just setting the table in the matchup.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
I won't bother you. Sorry, man.
No, you're not bothering me, bro. I'm just laughing because it's like he's stacking Geno, JSN, and DK. I've never heard of Geno in a stack before, like this aggressively. Like you stacking Geno. Okay, go ahead. What's the question though? You're just trying to see what the matchup looks like.
What I'm saying is he has DK and JSN, and because Purdy's out, he's got Geno in.
Yeah. Okay. So give me your full team. You got Nico, MHJ, Kittle,
Jordan Love, Courtland Sutton, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, and I'm looking at Watson or Otten. I did play Watson last week, and I hit with that. So now I'm looking at with Kittle losing Purdy to play Otten or Watson at my second flex.
Okay, and he's got Geno, DK, JSN, Dell. Who's the rest of his team?
Oh, right. Tank Dell, DK, JSN, Josh Downs. His tight end is Hunter Henry. Running backs are David Montgomery as opposed to my Jahmyr Gibbs. That's what I'm saying. I'll set the table because it's just.
I hear you. I don't take offense to. Don't take offense to it. You're about to bail on the phone call. I'm not ripping on you. I'm just laughing because like. So look, bottom line is looking at his team. It's got some good components to it, but Monty, Geno, DK, JSN, Dell, Downs, Henry. This is a bad thing to have Geno, JSN, and DK in a redraft stacked. This isn't dynasty. This isn't best ball. This is a potential down a negative. Because if they have a bad game, he's cooked. This is a team that's going to. This is a team that's either going to score 60 to we'll call it 105, 60 to 105. In my opinion, this team, and this team over here with Gibbs, Nico, I would say this is like we'll call it a 105. So we'll say there's some overlap, or a 100. There's some definite overlap because you could have everybody do horrible, to like 130, 140. Like your team, this is a solid team. This has got a lot of upside. This team is very.
I've run into some horrible scoring. I mean, I'm getting scored 135 against me every week, but I'm finally at full strength. So I mean, I feel good about the squad. But man, I've lost 3 in a row. I'm a 5th seed, but second in points. But I'm always leading in points against me. It's bizarre, but every year I somehow get beat up on.
I think you have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
All right, appreciate you, bro. Later. Let's see here. Who else is on the phone line? I felt bad. I was like, hey, you play too much. Okay, I'll go. It's like, I'll go. I'll just hang up. I don't mean to bother you. Bye. I'm like, bro, wait. I felt all bad, bro. I didn't mean it like that. Start to read JMO, JS Sutton, JSN. I'm gonna go Reed and JMO, but JSN and Sutton are very solid. Like, this is one of those questions where, like, I could go Sutton and JSN, two players I didn't even decide on. I could start Sutton and JSN and I'd feel good about it. But I'm probably going Reed and I'm probably going JMO. But Corey, you're gonna probably get this wrong 50% of the time. Pick 2 between Watson, Waddle, Dell. I'm gonna go Watson and Waddle. I do like Dell still, but I think those are probably safer. You think Brock will come back or sit rest of season? I don't think he'll sit rest of season, but if he needed to miss 2 games, let's say, and this is because they're going to assess him on Monday to see if he can play the next week. If he misses 2 games and they're out of it and this becomes a bigger problem, absolutely he'll sit the rest of the year, or could. But if there's no, like, further, the situation doesn't get worse and he can come back, I think they'll try and make a playoff run. Because, again, keep in mind, when you look at the records of the West, and I'll pull this up and you can just see, we got 3 of the teams in the West right here in Arizona, Seattle, and San Francisco. So 6-4, 5-5, and 5-5. Rams are 5-5. So this division, this 4-team division here in the West is literally neck and neck and neck. Like, they're the only team that's got 6 wins. The rest of them have 5 is the Cardinals. So if the Cardinals lose against the Seahawks and the Niners even lose here, it's still very close. If the Cardinals win against the Seahawks interdivision game and they go up 7 games and no one, the Niners could win and go up to 6 and only be 1 game back still, but it's highly unlikely that and then the Rams have a tough matchup, but they could get 6 wins, and then the Cardinals are only ahead by 1 game on those teams. But if the Niners lose this game, and it's likely, and the Cardinals win, they're 2 games back. So so much depends on what happens this week, and then we look at what Brock play. If Brock is worse, then things are going to get really bad really quick, and we probably would not see them rush him back. So tough to say. All right, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Wow, the Niners were projected to not. They were favored in every single game prior to the season starting. They were projected to win every single game based on the odds makers. Not saying they would have went undefeated, but that's crazy, and that's why you play the game. That's why the NFL is so interesting. That's why when we say, "Oh, the Lions are going to beat the Colts for sure this week," you can't lock anything like that into place. Don't go betting the farm on something like that, because this is the NFL, baby. Anything can happen.
You got a lot of pushback in the summer, but you talked about how the Niners really, avoided a lot of injury last year. A lot of things went right for them.
Too many things went right.
Now Trent's banged up, and he was hurt, and Debo was banged up, and Ayuk got hurt.
Sometimes I miss on predicting travesty in a downfall or whatever, but the reason I feel like I hit more often than not when we talk about, like, hey, this is a risky situation, is because the red flags pile up. There's just so many ways it can go wrong. And with the Niners having as old of a team as they had, and having no injuries last year, everybody playing full seasons and racking up mileage, and Christian McCaffrey being 28, walking into that dreaded 28 season, which I agree that there's some maneuverability now for a running back. Look at Kamara at 29. Look at Henry at 30. We cannot rule out the idea that a 29-year-old player like Mixon can play well next year in 2025 at the age of 29. There's still the opportunity for that to happen. for a lot of different reasons that might be explainable or not explainable. The way to explain it would be that, players are being utilized as a morphed running back wide receiver so much that it's giving them just a little bit more time than when they were between the tackle runners. Now, that doesn't make sense for Henry because Henry's gotten all his work between the tackles pretty much, but he's the outlier above all outliers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Niners walking into the season had so many red flags that it just felt like if you banked on it, you had a higher likelihood of being disappointed than not disappointed. But we'll see what happens. I mean, they could still fight and get back into the mix. I mean, they have to have some tremendous luck. Brock Purdy's got to be good. Maybe they win this game. Maybe the Cardinals lose and the Niners lose, but the Cardinals lose. And then they have every shot in the world to win out and win the division and somehow make it to the playoffs. That would be the Niners' luck. They have good luck as well as bad luck. They have more good luck than bad luck. But
in terms of fantasy, because we got fantasy on the show a lot, obviously, avoiding those red flags on the whole is a pretty smart thing to do. Obviously you got to take a chance sometimes and go with your gut sometimes, but I find my best teams this year are the ones where, for the most part, those injury situations or those guys that had 2, 3, 4 red flags, I just stayed away from them, at least until the season got going and see what they're like. And that pays off a lot. So it's still something you got to factor in.
And I have this map that we maybe need to bring back into the saddle. I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is where we will plot players on the risk map. And I think I'm going to try and bring this back to a major degree next year. But, like, let's say we roll a player like, give me a risky player.
Right now.
For 2025. There's somebody in the chat. Kamara. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So when you're plotting Kamara on the risk map, you're asking yourself, what's the upside of Kamara next year? He's 29 years old, so he'll be 30. Does he have the upside to be like a 10 out of 10 upside type player? Is it 9? Is it 8? Is it drop back? Like what is the risk level that Kamara has, or the upside level that Kamara has, do you guys think? If you had to score from 1 out of 10.
9.
You think next year is still 9? Okay, what is the risk level? And the risk level meaning lack of risk being 10, highest risk being 1.
So highest risk being 1. I mean, he's not hurt a ton. He's banged up a decent amount, so I don't know, 5, 6.
Okay, so 5 or 6.
I could be off.
To even qualify to be on this chart, I have it knocked off at 5 and 5. So he has an upside of 9 and a risk level 10 being lacking all risk at all. 1 being biggest risk ever. Kamara doesn't fall into this green zone territory, which is like the unicorn of unicorns, where you're above 8 in both categories. You have a upside that is above 8. You have a risk level that is 8 or above, meaning you have the littlest risk as possible. So Kamara falls into not the no-go zone, but he definitely doesn't fall into the unicorn zone. So a player that would be an example of a no-go zone player would be who's somebody that's going to just completely drop off the face of the earth next year. Oh, let's say CMC even. Okay, so CMC to me, he probably has the upside of an 8 potentially. So he's like on the verge, but his risk level is probably 8, 9, 10. Like there's, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like somewhere in that range. There's no way McCaffrey is outside of this red zone for risk, meaning above 8. He's probably sitting right on the top of this upside piece of this red zone, but he's floating in here somewhere. You know, James Conner, same thing. His upside probably is not above 8 next year. It can't be at the ripe age of 29 as well. So Conner is definitely in this red box He's going to be in. So the risk map is nice because if it's not so much going to tell you a story like, hey, avoid guys that fall into these clear areas, or especially the unicorn area. But if you fall into the red zone in your own analysis, then it's almost a total avoid player. It's almost a total avoid player because the upside, you got to consider the upside, the cost of entry too. So if I haven't defined it yet, if upside is meaning you've got to spend a second round pick on Christian McCaffrey, his upside is not above 8. It can't be because there's that's not baked in. Like, he is in the red zone. He is in the total avoid zone. You know, whereas
how about a guy like
Jamar Chase? How about Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
I can tell you right now. I don't know what a unicorn sounds like, but
It looks like one.
it would be a this is a unicorn. How easy? We'll use the horse sound. What's a unicorn sound like? Anybody have the fictitious sound of a unicorn memorized from the folk tales? Let's say, so Jamar Chase upside of 9 or 10. I would say 9.9. His risk level, even though he has been injured before, for sure, it's got to be at least 8 or above. He would definitely be at least in the edge, top left edge of the green unicorn box. Like easily. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. Now, Bijan Robinson's risk level could veer down to this 8, maybe even below, but his upside would be where he'd put him in this clear area here. But his downside is, usage.
How about a guy like Garrett Wilson? For example, like when you talk about his upside, do you factor in
cost of entry?
Quarterback?
Yeah. Cost
So
of entry.
What would you put his upside at? So he can't be a 9 or a 10. I mean, maybe a 9. He can't be a 10.
His upside is not 9
know.
and this is all like, your own evaluation process, but Garrett Wilson to me has an upside of like 8, no higher, because your cost of entry is still very high. Upside's accounting for all of that. His risk level, I would say he's not like a 10 because his quarterback situation. He's not a 9 or an 8. His risk level, and again, 10 of lack of risk really is what this says right here. Lack of risk.
Yep.
So his lack of risk score 10 would be he lacks risk 10 out of 10. If Garrett Wilson, I would have to say, is somewhere along the lines of a 8 and a 7. So he's outside the no-go zone, but his upside is almost dragging him into a very dangerous territory. And it makes sense when you think about it. Like Garrett Wilson, and this is cost of entry. If Garrett Wilson started all of a sudden, you snapped your fingers and he was a 7th round pick, guess where his upside would be? 8, 9, 10. Like he would skyrocket. But at the cost of entry for Garrett Wilson next year, he's right on that edge of 8, and his upside does not put him in the green zone. He's absolutely in almost the no-go zone. And it makes sense because he's a risky player.
So, one other question. How do you figure in like a guy like T. Higgins, where you don't know where he's going to be yet? If you're making a trade for Dynasty,
that factors into his upside. So, like, you have to, the upside is, yeah, the upside is not something that is easily, you can't calculate it very easily. But right now, Higgins is probably going to be a number 1 somewhere. Probably going to choose a pretty wise location, I imagine. It's not going to be all up to him. But let's say Higgins goes upside-wise. I think 8 feels comfortable. His lack of risk, though, does not feel like it's in this 8, 9, 10. I think he also would fall just above the no-go zone because I think he's got lots of upside and his cost of entry isn't crazy. If like, let's say he ends the season injured, his upside could definitely be dropped into this like 7, 8 territory for me, and his risk level is huge. So his upside has to remain high for him to stay out of the no-go zone because he's a risky player. Yeah, I'll incorporate the risk map in a lot of 2025 content, but I think it's an interesting way to look at things.
So if there's a guy, like I said, if it's for dynasty or whatever, and you're looking towards next year, if you don't know where the guy's going to be, you can only assume so much that's going to knock his upside down a little bit.
Maybe, unless you're predicting him to land somewhere great.
Sure. Okay.
But by the way, I found this underneath my marker board here. MHJ to Arizona, no matter what. I folded this up on draft day.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have the risk map. We'll have that be a part of the 2025 content. And anybody wants to plot somebody on there and they drop a $20 super chat, I'll have a menu that'll come down here and it'll say like flip the script, $20, marker board, $20, a risk map plot, 20. So anytime you do a $20 hauler, you can request what feature you want. Yeah, like so that. We'll start doing that as well if you want me to risk map somebody. And I'll have a more interactive risk map board. All right, let me go over to Cap real quick, who's been waiting patiently. Cap, what can I do for you?
No, thank you, gentlemen. Listen, I just acquired a massive little upgrade at quarterback and at receiver. I gave up Dobbins and AR5 for Bo Nix and JSN. So I'm trying to fix the DeVonta Smith gap by maybe flipping a McBride since I picked up Shoemaker. So maybe I'm thinking a McBride for Flowers straight up or a McBride for Puka. And the guy's missing a quarterback that's inquiring about a trade. So I'm thinking of giving him a quarterback with a McBride and a quarterback for Puka.
What quarterback?
Darnold.
Okay, I'd take that. But your tight end would be Shoemaker.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of picking up, Komet just to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I mean you're definitely taking a hit at tight end for sure. But Puka's fantastic.
Do you think? Stick with McBride?
No, I take Puka. I'd rather have Puka. But like, is there any other? Jonu's gone, I assume. Kraft is gone. Kraft's kind of crafty.
Yeah. I actually have Ferguson, and I dropped him earlier.
Okay, I probably would pick up Ferguson again and keep Shoemaker and Ferguson together. But
Ferguson's not available. Ferguson's available.
Yeah, Muth's okay. I'd have.
Okay, so try to get Puka then.
Yeah, Puka's going to help your lineup a lot more, I think.
What about Flowers?
I'd rather McBride than Flowers, bro.
Okay. All right, boys. Thank you very much.
All right, later, Cap.
Yo.
All right, rock out. You got anything else, bro?
Yeah, is AJ Brown or JJ viable?
AJ Brown for JJ?
No, AJ Brown and JJ.
Yeah, that's pretty viable. Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir. I mean, you might have 2 top 7 wide receivers right there. One of them being top 5. One of them being 1 to 5. Absolutely, my boy.
Yeah.
You say viable or viable?
You said what?
I didn't hear. Did you say viable or viable?
Viable.
It sounds like you're saying the same thing. What are you saying? Oh, buyable. Buy. Are you buying them or? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying viable. I got you. Okay, so can you buy AJB or JJ? No. I mean, not very easily. JJ is definitely attainable. Like if let's say like,
worried about JJ.
yeah, let's say the guy that owns JJ has 5 wins. Then he's going to be looking to shop him because he's worried about Darnold. He's worried about the situation. So it depends on what the owner's looking at. Is the JJ owner struggling?
Let me check.
And is the A.J. Brown owner struggling? If they're not struggling, I think they're going to hold off. But if they're struggling, I think they're very, very attainable in a trade. All right, while you check, let me go over to Heating. Heating, you're live.
Yeah, it's me. So I'm back on the trade that I was talking to you about earlier tonight, which was K-Dot and Jameer Gibbs for Bijan. I'm looking at the standings right now, and I'm like guaranteed to lose this game if I make that trade, which would put me like just on the edge of the playoffs. Does that change your answer of doing the trade?
Yes. I think Gibbs is close enough to Bijan. There is a world where if the wind's blowing slightly to the left, I want Gibbs over Bijan.
Okay. I'm worried about Monty and all this usage he's been
What?
getting.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. Irrelevant. Like Gibbs. This team runs the ball so much. Gibbs is going to get his. Monty's going to get his. They're not taking from each other. It's easy to feel that way because they're in the end zone and red zone so much. You feel like every opportunity is being stolen from you. But the reality of the situation is Bijan in the same amount of red zone opportunities on average that Gibbs is. Just 1-to-1. Like stop looking at every opportunity that Detroit has as a kick to the nutsack. Gibbs gets his big breakaway touches. He oftentimes is in there in the goal line situations. They love Gibbs, bro. Gibbs is capable of 2 touchdowns as much as anybody in the National Football League.
That makes sense. It's probably my seller's remorse, too. I traded Bijan for Brees earlier in the season, thinking that was going to work out, and then Bijan immediately exploded.
And, bro, there's just as much of a chance that the Falcons screw with Bijan's workload again as there is any sort of concern you have. Like, Gibbs is fantastic, bro. Don't even worry about it.
And I understand what you're saying too, but what I do sometimes is if I start thinking that way or worrying about that, I'll go to, I don't know if you play on Sleeper, but I'll go to the Sleeper app and look at their rank each week, and that just puts to bed those thoughts, like, because Gibbs has been a top 15 running back every single week except 2, I think it was. So just take a look at that. You can see where he finishes every week compared to everyone else. Because sometimes points can be skewed and stuff, but see where they're finishing every week and just know this guy's locked in that spot.
Also keep in mind, like last year too, just how Gibbs is going to float around 10 to 12 for RBs every week, and Gibbs can be 2, 3, 20, 3, 40. Like that's just how that happens for them. They both are going to get work. And it's who gets lucky to get the touchdown. The thing about it though is Monty's going to get a lot of work. They're not turning away from Gibbs in the goal line. It just depends on who's in there. And if Monty's tired, they'll put Gibbs right in. Gibbs is in the goal line situations a lot. But the difference between Gibbs and Monty is Gibbs also has those breakaway touchdowns that Monty won't have as many of.
Right. That's why I like him, but at the same time, I'm also rostering Tracy too. I just traded Ladd for Tracy, and with this Daniel Jones benching, I feel like Tracy's going to explode.
All right, bro.
Feeling optimistic.
All right, bro. Later. All right, rock out. What did you have in terms of this JJ owner and AJB owner? Did they have bad records?
The JJ owner had a bad record at 3-8.
There you go. 3-8, and then the AJB
6-5.
Okay, so very vulnerable. I would say this JJ owner is probably pretty scared, and JJ's been a reason why he's played badly. So he's not only scared about Darnold, but he's tying losing to JJ. So would you still have to give up a lot? Yeah. Is he going to be ranked around 12, 13, 14, 15 overall, no matter what, no matter who owns him? Yeah, but he's got the ability to be a top 5 guy overall out of all positions. So definitely worth buying at like top or second round value. And you might say, oh, no one's going to give him up for a second round equivalent player. Not true. Because if you give somebody two pieces that they can't calculate is worth that, they just think, oh, maybe they're overvaluating it. That's what 2-for-2 deals do. They confuse and muddy the water so much that you think, I don't know what value I'm getting. I'm just getting a lot of players and I need it. Okay, I'll do it. And then later on, they're like, damn it, was Tracy and Flowers not enough for JJ? Crap, I didn't realize that the scale wasn't even when I did that trade. That's what the complicated 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 trade does. So, yeah, you could give up, what were you thinking?
As far as my wide receiver, I could give up Harrison Jr. or McLaurin, and I could add, like, Tracy.
Yeah, Terry and Tracy for JJ, I would do that in a second. MHJ and Tracy, I'd probably do that too. Yeah, either one of those. And that's the kind of deal. It's a fair deal to somebody that's in a dire situation. It's like, give me something, something I can do something with. Something's not working for me, so let's go ahead and go that route. Tracy's got some what if value. Let's do it. Now, will he do it? I don't know, but that's certainly a nice trade.
Right.
All right, rock out. Appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate it.
Later. Travis, any final thoughts?
Nope. I'll talk to you later if you're live.
All right, later. Yeah, we'll probably go live later. All right, thanks, man. JD5 Bijan, this is from Laughing, appreciate your waiting. JD5 Bijan, Algier, Dell, or Mahomes, K9, Hill, MHJ. Woo! Give me more. And I can't say it. JD5 Bijan, man. I can't say it. I can't say give me the Mahomes side. I'm trying to muster it up. I think I probably will lean toward that side. But Walker's hard to trust right now because of his situation, not because of him. But Hill's hard to trust. But the combination of all of that with MHJ, give me the Mahomes side. But it is close. It is close because of how good Bijan is and how good JD5 could return to that form. But give me the Mahomes side. But that is a tough question. That is a tough question. Flex, Nabers, Kittle, or Debo this week. I would probably go Nabers. But, I mean, we could look back and completely regret that. But yeah, tough to say. So appreciate everybody being here. I'll be back later tonight. Don't forget we're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. We're also live whenever big news breaks. We're also live additionally during graveyard shifts. We built this show on graveyard shifts, so a lot of midnights we are live. And so we could be back on that note. Appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here. And I don't know, I'm tempted to come back on that Brock Purdy hot take. You know what I mean? Like coming in for a little graveyard hot take. Brock Purdy may not get his contract from the 49ers. It's feeling like this is going in the wrong direction, and I don't know if the Niners are going to be in a position to pay Brock Purdy $60 million a year off of a very, very bad year for the Niners in general. So it will be very interesting. Appreciate you all. See you tonight. See you later, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. This one here from Jacob. Last second question from Jacob. San Francisco. Oh no, Superflex League. I was on the San Francisco was on my mind. Superflex League. Lamar, Braylon Allen, BT for Joe Burrow, Bucky, Ridley. Joe Burrow, Bucky, Ridley, Lamar, Braylon Allen, BT. Give me Lamar and BT. I think BT is going to be awesome down the stretch. Thank you, Jacob. See you all tonight. Appreciate you, deuces. Anybody drops a super chat while the show ends, just leave it in the comments. Not the live chat, in the comments of the video. Deuces. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back.